can call her if you want, but I'm handling this transaction.
We're live with the network marketing, wholesale real estate investing, number 225. And as you gathered there, talking deals here and investors and whatnot. Yes, this is all about real estate, guys. Wholesale real estate, as a matter of fact, and flipping deals and making money. Excuse me. Without ever really buying property. How does that work? It's called wholesaling. It's called what pretty much everything on this planet. Oh, well, you know what? Let me rephrase that, because talking with Henrik, who's from Europe, Sweden and Scotland, not everything on the planet, but pretty much everything in this country is wholesaling. Okay, there's a freaking middleman for everything. And we have licensed middlemen. You know, I mean, a real estate agent is a licensed middleman. All they do is they get your property listing. You're interested in selling your property. They post it up on the MLS, and they sit around and they wait for another middleman who has a buyer to bring them together. So these guys just play the middleman, and they're licensed professional middlemen. So what's wrong with being a middleman? Nothing, obviously. I mean, there's licensed professional. I mean, you could go to school and study how to become a middleman and get a license and hang it on the wall. Says, hey, I'm a licensed middleman. Or you could just go out there and be a middleman and be a wholesaler like us. So I'm Paul. This is the, like I said, the Wholesale Real Estate Investing Show by Saha, number 225 on this Freedom Friday, February 19th, 2016. And I got my business partner here, real estate wholesaling guru, John Leister. What do you say today, Mr. Johnny?
I say today is a great day. You know, when we started this hangout, I was basically had about 3 minutes before this thing starts where I am on with Paul waiting to go live, and we were just in the middle of chatting about a deal. And you know, this is why I love the wholesale business, because it truly is one vehicle to make large sums of cash with, I say, relatively little money out of your pocket. Because any guru, I'm just going to state this before continuing my point, that tells you that you don't need money to invest in wholesale real estate, that's a bunch of BS. It takes money to open escrow. If you're taking the course from the guru, that's costing you money. And how do you find a deal? You got to market for that deal, and that costs money, or a lot of time that most people do not have unless they're in the business full time. The point I'm trying to make is, you know, talking shop, and why I love wholesale real estate is because, you know, I've got a deal going on right now. I was just giving Paul the quick lowdown on what happened on it. I got this one literally under contract last Friday. It turned out that given the situation, the signer for the owner of the property, who's an incapacitated woman, wasn't the proper power of attorney. So on Tuesday, we canceled them. And he immediately called the hospital where his mom's at and talked to the doctors and arranged it so that he can become the POA. And this I found out Wednesday night. So yesterday I spent the day kind of looking for a buyer for this property. And here's the beauty. I found a buyer. And here's the beauty of all this. So this was a deal on Friday last week, a deal dead on Tuesday, and then deal on Wednesday. And the buyer is
deal done on Friday. Deal done on Friday.
And today's Friday.
I'm sorry to interrupt you there.
Oh, no.
Deal done. I just got excited there. And deal, you know, the sequence there, you had me going. Deal on, deal off, deal on, and then deal done.
Right.
Then closing on Tuesday.
So this whole little roller coaster ride will be less than a week and a half, and we make $25,000. I don't know any other business that offers that opportunity. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. Deals like this happen all the time. but they don't happen every day. And most people getting in this business aren't going to get a deal like that out the gate. You know, if you know what you're doing, you're going to get deals like that quite often. But, you know, it's not easy and it's not free. So I'm just laying that out because that's the truth. But the awesome thing about this is I'm hoping to build a long-term relationship with this new investor. They can perform and get this thing done on Tuesday. They've created a little bit of a loyalty. They have cash to do something in crunch time in less than 2 minutes. But what really blows me away about the whole thing is that this girl that I ended up connecting with that's buying this property she's not even 20 years old yet. She's like 19 and 3/4 years old. You know what I mean? And I could tell she's young because when I asked her how old, she's like, oh, 19 and 3/4. Like, once you're over 30, you're just like, I'm 31. I don't go, I'm 31 and a half or 3/4. None of that shit matters. So I'm like, man, this person is young. And I'm thinking,
I think it's once you hit 21 is when that matters. Okay, once you become of legal drinking age, then you know how close you are to that makes no difference. Right? I'm 21, yeah, I'm 22, 23, whatever.
what it is, I mean, I'm just super impressed that someone in this age group with the mindset to do this business and have the ability to take a chance. And you know, that person was seeking an opportunity and they found one. Because quite honestly, sitting there running the numbers with this person, if they do their rehab right, and she's a realtor, by the way, so she's getting her own 6% back from her listing, so she can be a little bit more flexible than most buyers. She'll turn around, she'll make herself probably $25K after she sells her own property, and what she gets for the flip and what she gets for her own listing. She'll make herself $25K in the next 90 days. She's 19 freaking years old. That person that's working at Circle K at 19 years old is going to work all year, 40 hours a week, and not make that money. That's the point I'm trying to make. This is not a rocket science business. If you don't like working a job you hate for 40 hours a week to make less than $25,000, think about it. All you got to do is learn how to flip 2 decent deals, because an average deal really in wholesaling is 7 to 12. Figure out a way to flip 2, 3 of those a year, and you don't have to work a 40-hour week if you think about it.
Yeah, you flip I mean, for most people, you flip just two at the bottom line, $14,000 a year. You've doubled your income. You know what you were saying there. I mean, you started out with a little bit of real estate, or you know, wholesaling does take money to be successful. And I'm totally 100% on board. Anybody that says wholesale real estate is, you know, it's not going to cost you any money is flat out lying to you. As far as I'm concerned, no, not going to beat around the bush there. It's a flat out bald-faced lie. It will take money. It may not take a lot, but it will take money. Anyway, today's title of today's show: real estate plus. Oh, supposed to be equals. Real estate equals relationships. It turned out real estate plus relationships. That works too. Real estate plus relationships equals success. How's that sound? But here's a deal right here where, like John said, you know, these kind of things, these kind of opportunities don't pop up every minute of every day for you as a wholesaler, and especially as a new wholesaler who is just starting out with all of the general sort of, you know, going through the motions kind of a thing that they paid buku bucks for in education on, and, you know, doing the standard old grind is not going to probably, I mean, the chance of you running across a deal like that, first of all, is fairly slim. Secondarily, with your lack of knowledge, where this deal was on and then this deal was off and then this deal was on again, this deal would have been on and then this deal would have been off and then this deal would have remained off for you. And then also, too, the whole idea of last minute, you know, on, off, on again, done, closing in 3 days, all within, you know, what, a 9 or 10 day period, all of this happening. This is something that takes relationships with other people. None of this stuff happens by yourself. You don't make this stuff happen all alone, right? You just don't get a deal and say, oh, I got to have this thing closed in 10 days. And then, oh, well, 3 days later, oh, well, this deal's dead. And then turn around and go, oh, well, you know what? Hey, wait a second. This new piece of information came into play. How can we take this new piece of information and light this deal back up and get it going again? And then, okay, yeah, all right, we can do it. Great. Now we're down to 4 days. We got to get this thing sold and closed. You don't just make that stuff happen, okay? You've got to have relationships with a lot of people in this business to become successful. And you know what? If you're the kind of person who is really good at building relationships and really good at meeting people and creating relationships, when you're all by yourself out there, you can have a much better chance of getting to a deal like that that's going to make you that kind of money right out of the gate a lot faster than the person who is, you know, like the average Joe guy who I was at one point in time, come from nowhere, nothing about this, no skills whatsoever in the arena of skill sets that it takes to be successful in wholesale real estate. I literally had no skill sets whatsoever in the, you know, like I said, the whole bullpen of skill sets that it takes to be successful in this business at the time when I started out. But you know what? Each and every one of them is a learnable skill. So, hey, that was the good news. You can always learn them. But if you're not somebody that has, you know, high quality skills in those areas, like obviously this gal at 19 3/4 years old, you know, is very proficient in the right skill sets. Building relationships is obviously probably one of those skill sets that she's very good at to get into real estate at whatever, 18 or whatever it was, and in a year and a half, be doing the kinds of deals and being in the position that she's in that short of a time. You know, she's obviously a very, like I said, a very talented individual in certain areas where a lot of people that want to do wholesale real estate are talented in these areas. But again, my point being is the relationship side of real estate, of wholesale real estate, is where your greatest success is going to grow from. And the skill sets that it takes to develop those relationships may not be something that you have right now, but don't let that sway you. Don't let that allow you to quit. Just know that each and every one of those skill sets are learnable, and you can get better at all of those things. For some people, it's going to take a little bit longer than other people. Some people are going to take off and jump right out of the gate and take off, you know, from day one, from day 5, from month 1, from month 5. Other people are going to jump out of the gate and they're going to struggle along, and they're going to be at square one 3 years down the road from now. They're going to be just trying to step across into square 2. But you know what? As long as they don't give up, they'll get square 2, and then square 3 will come faster, and 4 and 5 and 6, and boom, you're on your way.
I was doing dramatic pause right there. No, that is so true. And you know what? For some people, it may come easier, because I know at 18, 19, 20 years old, I certainly didn't have the mindset to be doing the kind of deals that this investor is showing the potential to be doing. And I think a lot of that may even have to do with our upbringing, right? And our programming. And oh no, Paul, you're flashing like you're in a strobe light club. Is something wrong with your power?
Hey, everybody. That's the green. It's the green machine. Look out.
Right. But you know what? You know, I want to throw this in because you're talking about skill sets and they're learnable. You know what? For some of us who are, I'm 38 years old. I'm 37 for 2 more weeks. I'm 38 years old. Whatever.
What does that make? 37 and 15 sixteenths?
Yeah. No, 50 52s. 50th of a 52 or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, point being is, for me, I really didn't start developing and taking off. There you go. Shit, that was distracting. I didn't really start taking off in this business and doing well probably until maybe 3 years ago. And that's when I realized that I knew I had the skill set to learn real estate. I knew that I had the drive and the determination, and I had a pretty damn good why. And I jumped into this business, met Paul pretty much right at the start with no knowledge of real estate whatsoever, other than the fact that I had lived in a house all my life. So I guess I had been in real estate, if you want to put it, in that manner. But what the turning point for me is when I realized that not just are the networking skills an important skill to learn, not just the people skills, the negotiation skills. It was the personal development skills, the self-reflection, having, to me, it's a skill set to sit down, and it's a skill to relax and focus your mind into one thing and sit there for 15 minutes to an hour with a notebook, jotting down goals and dreams so that I have a reason to be doing these things. It's not just about the money. It's about, why do I want to make money in wholesale real estate? That's so important. Like, to me, it's a skill set, and it's a learnable skill set. And Paul and I also do a network marketing business, and I'm not here pitching that. I am just going to mention that we do a hangout kind of geared towards network marketing. But the funny thing about it is, the one thing we keep coming back to in that hangout is the same thing we keep coming back to in this hangout. And that's how important it is to realize that everything we're talking about here are learnable skills. Everything that we need to know to be successful in anything in life is that if someone's already doing it, then so can you. Because if there's a system, you just got to learn it. It's a learnable skill. And that's, something that is so empowering when you realize that. And if you really believe that, you can be successful at anything. And I think that since today is Friday, and that for Paul and I on these hangouts, it's Freedom Friday. I think this is a great topic to drive home, is just that it's your why you're doing things. That's so important. That'll keep you going and driving you. But don't be discouraged by what you don't know. And hey, if you don't know, team up with someone who does know the answer. It's also, in my opinion, if you want to be a multimillionaire, you have to work with other people. You can't do it by yourself. So that's even a learnable skill, is like, you can be sitting there going, man, I really don't like working with people. Well, how bad do you want it? Because if you want it bad enough, you'll learn how to work with people. You'll learn the necessary skills. And if not, if you want it bad enough, you'll learn to be good enough at forming maybe just 1, 2, 3 relationships with the people that you can bring into your team to be good at the things that you don't like doing or that you're not good at.
The skills, the learnable skills. You said that everything is learnable skills, and when it comes to being successful. And I just want to point out that one thing here, that when we're talking about learnable skills, and you touched on this, John. Most people look at the mechanical skills, the how-to part of whatever it is that it's going to take to become successful. And like, for instance, in wholesale real estate, they're thinking that the learnable skills that I need to be successful in wholesale real estate would be, how to, the types of marketing to put out, how to comp properties, so I can figure out how to determine what offers are, how to determine repairs, to go into my offers, how to write contracts, and these kind of skills. But and those skills are necessary. You have to learn those. Those are the mechanics of the business. Those are, like I said, those are the how-to part of it. But the skills that are going to bring you your success, your ultimate success, that are going to take you to the level that you want to be at, are the skills that John mentioned there briefly, and that's the skills of developing yourself and the skills of developing your abilities to relate with other people. It's those two skill sets that bring it all in, that allow you to achieve the level of success that you want. You can go out and learn all the how-to in the world. You could be the most perfect. I mean, you could comp properties to the freaking penny, okay? You could figure out repairs to the penny and be right every single time. But it's not going to get you deals, and it's not going to make you money. It's going to make you some, you're going to be able to do some business, and it'll take you to a certain level, But to blow up your business and take it to a whole new plane, it's all about the skills of developing yourself and the skills of your abilities, developing your abilities to relate with other people. That's what, and I mean, and that goes with everything. It's not just wholesale real estate. It goes with everything. I could relate this back to my days as working in the asphalt business. There was a time when my employer, my boss, it was a small company, small crew, only like a 5-man crew or whatever every year. There was a time when my boss wanted to sell the company. And of course, I was the foreman. He offered it to me first. And I said no. I told people the reason why I said no is because I felt that, it was impossible to find good labor in that town, because small tourist town kind of thing, transient. We had new people every year. Truck drivers especially were, an impossible thing to find, because most truck drivers like to, quote, drive truck, right? They don't like to get out and pick up a shovel. And on a small crew like that, you need somebody who's willing to do that. So that was like an impossible person to find. But I said no, and that was like the excuse that I used. Is like, you know what? Business is just too difficult to run. To get good employees, I'm going to be out there having to do all the work myself anyway, kind of a thing. And then I'm going to have to run the business as well. And so I said no. But the real reason why I said no is because I knew who the next person in line was that he was going to offer this business to. And I knew that this person was going to take the job. And I knew that was going to want to buy the company. And I knew that he would probably want to keep me on as the foreman. And I knew that he had all the relationships around town. This guy knew so many people. He knew freaking everybody in town, that he would be a person who would be able to take this business, keep it alive, keep it growing, maybe even build it, who knows what, wherever he wanted to take it. But that was the real reason why. It came down to the relationships. Not that I couldn't do the business, you know what I mean? I could go out there and have my little company and go out there and pave the driveways myself with a couple of flunkies. Hell, I probably would have had to become the truck driver myself, But on the other hand, knowing that this person who had the relationship skills and had the ability to relate with other people, now maybe is a little lacking in the developing of your self department, but I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about that at the time, so that didn't come into play. But as far as just the relationships goes, that's why I turned down the job.
And you probably did the right thing, because you may never have met me and created this awesome wholesale real estate business, which be prepared, shameless plug coming, which is, awesome. Like what I'm passionate about, speaking of why, and this may be a little bit off the topic of what Paul said, but I just think I want to plug in here to say, Paul and I are putting together a team, and we plan on being one of the top wholesaling companies in this valley by the end of this year. And we know we can't do it alone. We know that it takes a team. It takes a lot of dedicated people that are motivated, that are like sharks, that are going to go out there and do the necessary things and take the necessary actions. And we're open to working with anybody that has the drive and determination. We do have a system that we're plugging people into. And the awesome thing about it is Paul and I are wholesalers, okay? We come on these hangouts. You can see we're just regular guys. We're not fancy, schmancy, schmoozy sales guys or even presenters. But why are we so successful is because we have the skill set necessary that when we're in front of a seller of a property and we're working with a client, we know how to treat those clients. So if you want to learn how to be a presenter and be the next real estate guru, we're probably not the guys for you. But if you want to learn what wholesale real estate really is about, understand how to find motivated sellers, work with them, and do deals that you're making 25 grand in 1 week after contracting that seller. We're the guys for that. We're the guys that'll teach you that. And the reason is we're super passionate about this business, and more so than just our business, we're super passionate about our system and plugging people into it, getting them on our team, locking them in, creating a win-win-win situation that they're loyal for life to us, and we can all make a lot of money together. And that's what I'm passionate about, is that what we're, helping other people and locking them in and bringing them into what we're doing. So, please, I say that because I would love to kind of get people who stumble into this hangout or who join us regularly to like shoot Paul and I an email, let us know who you are, leave a comment at the bottom of this page and let us know, where you're hanging out from, and connect with us and let us show you this business. Let us show you how to do it, and without having to put money out. See if it's really for you before you go spend 10, 15, in some cases, an event that just took place last weekend, $35,000, to realize that real estate is not for you.
That's another, God, thing won't leave my throat. Another reason why we are successful is because that right from the very beginning, we were willing to A, accept other people's help, B, look for other people's help, and C, employ other people's help in doing deals and learning and growing this business. Because along the way, we've done a lot of deals in combination with other people and started building relationships that way. And so good. I kind of forgot where I was going with that, but the whole idea is with I know, I'm sorry. Continuing on with the shameless plug is where I was going. Sharing with other people in our deals is where we realized the more that we shared with other people in our deals, the more money that we started making. And that just sort of helped us develop the whole business model behind the Property Noodler system, which is basically, let's get, the more people we can get in here sharing more deals with, the more money everybody's going to make. And that's the whole idea behind the whole program, is to get as many people as we possibly can, sharing as many deals as we possibly can, so that everybody can make as much money as we possibly can. And you guys can learn and grow along the way without having to, break the bank, mortgage the house, or whatever the case might be, to spend all that money on the education, like John said, only to find out later potentially that, this isn't your bag. Because quite honestly, straight up, it's not everybody's bag. It's not going to be. The people, and I'll tell you right now, the people that it's not going to be their bag for are the people who don't currently have the skill sets in the areas of, developing yourself and the abilities to deal with other people. Those are the people who are going to find that this is not their bag, because that's where the core of wholesale real estate is in those two areas. Now, there's plenty of you guys out there who will come in here and say, hey, look, I don't have any skill sets there, but if I can learn these skill sets, I want to do wholesale real estate, then you know what? This is the place to do it, because it doesn't cost you anything to do so. All right. Anyway, with that, I'm done here. John, what do you think?
That kind of just sums up. I mean, think about your why. Why do you want to make a change in your life? Why do you want to do this business, or why are you doing this business? And if, you're thinking about doing something new because you want to make money and make a change in your life, I think, thinking about what your why is, and if you're going to make all this, if you plan on making all this money, what in the world do you want to do with all this money? So with that, that's kind of my final thought today. I thought this is an excellent hangout. None of this is scripted. We come on here sometimes and just speak from the heart. Whatever's on our mind that morning comes out our mouths. And I love that. It's very organic. So I'm going to just close this off then by saying, oh, universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom with which to make better use of the riches that have been given to me at birth, consisting in the power to control and to direct my own mind to whatever ends I may desire. So with that, make it an excellent climactic resolution to your session, and we'll see you all back here on New Op Day.
Yes, New Op Day, everybody. And you know what happens on New Op Day, don't you? Guess what? We talk about relationships.